Welcome to If This Bar Could Talk and our limited series on cocktail modifiers. Alchedemics.com defines a cocktail modifier as a cocktail ingredient, usually alcoholic and typically fortified wine or a liqueur, that both softens the base spirit and adds flavor to the drink. In this series, we'll talk to the experts, bar professionals, and regular folks like us to better understand what modifiers are and how to use them. Next up, Grand Marnier.
Well, my full name is Xavier Herit. As you may hear, I'm a French native. And my position is the Grand Marnier Ambassador for the United States. And I'm based in New York City. Also, my headquarters is a Campari office on Bryant Park. But I'm also covering, like I said, traveling 60% of the time, covering some certain markets in the country from the East Coast to West Coast. I mean, mostly East Coast, but wherever they need me, I'm going to be there.
Awesome.
So tell us a bit about the history of Grand Marnier.
Well, Grand Marnier has a very fascinating story because it was, if we start with the first date, the distillery L'Apostole, which was the first distillery before it became L'Apostole Marnier. And we'll go through that because there's a lot of things going on. But it started in 1827. And this is an important date because back in the day, we were making some fruit liqueurs in the suburb of Paris, like crème de cassis, crème de pêche. Fruit liqueurs was very popular. And it's only with the second generation of the L'Apostole family who owned this distillery was actually, they were actually going cognac to collect some brandies from their own consumption. And around the 1870, they hired a young apprentice. His name was Louis-Alexandre Marnier. Louis-Alexandre Marnier, of course, helped to create Grand Marnier. There's no doubt on that with the name. He also got excited with the cognac, and he started to blend cognac with a bitter orange liqueur. So that was an important date. He also fell in love with his boss daughter, Julie L'Apostole. So it was actually the union of two families, and they created their own distillery after, which was called the Marnier L'Apostole Distillery. So 1880 was the important date. This was the birth date of Grand Marnier, Cordon Rouge, or Grand Marnier in general. We had a first version of Grand Marnier Cordon Rouge. It was called Curaçao de Marnier, and the bottle was rectangular. So a lot of things have changed since, and I can talk for history for a long time. Mm-hmm. But what is fascinating, it's I'm sure everyone is familiar with the Ritz Hotel. So César Ritz, who founded the Ritz Hotel, helped to redesign the package of the bottle and change the name. So instead of to elevate the brand, we had this distinctive shape, which is actually the shape behind an alembic pot still in cognac. So this will be the swan neck, and this will be the top of the pot still. So it's really one cool fact that a lot of people don't know about the shape of the bottle.
I didn't know.
The second cool fact, it's also to elevate the brand, we substitute Curaçao de Marnier by Grand. So marketing-wise, it was pretty brilliant in 1800. So it really changed the brand a lot. We could find Grand Marnier being quickly exported everywhere in the world, especially in America, already in the 1890s.
Interesting. Wow, what a great history. And so Grand Marnier, is it ever drank just neat, or is it always used in cocktails?
Grand Marnier is very versatile. It can be enjoyed neat, on the rocks. In a cocktail, the most popular cocktail for Grand Marnier is our margarita. Let's don't forget that one consumer out of 4 drink a margarita in the United States. Mm-hmm. And at home or in a bar or in a restaurant. So for us, one of the leading cocktails is margarita. Of course, by its history, if you remember the Cadillac margarita, which was created in the 80s by some bartenders in Texas. I know there's different versions. We're not going to debate the whole story here. However, to improve, to elevate your margarita, you are adding a float of Grand Marnier on the top. So Grand Marnier has this premium connotation in the margarita and in a lot of cocktails. But also, it can be enjoyed in so many spirits. In an old fashioned, in a Manhattan, during the winter time in some cold states, in a hot cocktail with cider, with coffee. So it's I always like to highlight the diversity of Grand Marnier. I think sometimes a new generation of bartenders know the name, they forget sometimes what to do with it. And it's a very, very interesting product to work with. Very versatile.
Aren't there different levels of Grand Marnier? Could you talk about that?
We do actually. The Grand Marnier Cordon Rouge is our house. Is our first on the most accessible, the most popular one. Let's not forget that Grand Marnier is a blend of cognac with a bitter orange liqueur. So we have different cuvées, a bit more high end, and by using older cognac. So the Grand Marnier Cuvée Louise Alexandre, which was released in spring 2019, it's with a blue label. We use VSOP cognac. We use more cognac ratio. So 82% of the bottle is VSOP cognac. Delicious, very smooth. We have another Grand Marnier called the Cuvée du Centenaire, which was released in 1927 to celebrate the 100 years anniversary of a distillery. So we have actually 82% of the bottle is an XO cognac, extra old. So it's interesting to see how Grand Marnier can be as a really interesting portfolio. I can talk about Grand Marnier in a very casual place, as I can be in a Michelin star restaurant or in a fancy hotel somewhere in the United States. And I like to see how Grand Marnier fits many different type of establishments.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. I had a taste of the higher end one at a steakhouse, and it was just a beautiful, smooth, slightly orange. It was just really, really wonderful.
Mm-hmm. It's a very nice way to end a beautiful meal with some of the higher cuvées. And I like to say it's one thing Grand Marnier is really good at is we are the only one to blend all cognac and the orange liqueur at this level. We don't have any really competitors. So we've been really good at mastering this craft for many years. And it's really proper to what is Grand Marnier.
And the orange, do you make that at the distillery as well?
Yes.
And then blend the two?
Absolutely. So what we do is we source oranges from the Caribbean islands. The type of citrus we use is called the Bigaradia orange. So it's a very bitter orange. We handpick the orange while it's still green. We peel it. We leave the peels on the ground floor, dry with the Caribbean sun. And after we ship the dried peels to the distillery, which is located in Cognac. And in Cognac, we've soak the peel into. That's the short explanation because I can be more detailed. But we would macerate the peels into a neutral-based spirits and going through a column postil to get this beautiful bitter orange essence. Mm-hmm. Of course, the last step is what would be also blending our cognacs and sourcing our cognacs with many farmers. We work with a lot of farmers. And once again, cognac is meant to be blended. You don't see a single cask cognac in cognac. You don't see vintage on the bottles. It's been meant to be blended for many years. So what we need for that, a master blender, has been mastering this blending for many years with us. And so the last step would be to blend to marry the cognac with a bitter orange liqueur. This process is called the mariage. So sorry, I went to a longer explanation, but yes. We distill oranges in cognac.
Would you mind repeating the distiller's name you cut out there?
Absolutely. The distiller's name is Patrick Ragueneau. Patrick Regono has been our master. Actually, is a master blender. We have in cognac at this time, we have about 33 master blender. It's an art to blend cognac. You do a lot of the blending with the nose, but they do it with the nose. You have to understand the different region, soil, and terroir. We blend in a bottle of Grand Marnier, you have a blend between 50 to 100 cognac. So it's important it's an art again to maintain the consistency and the quality and the flavor. So you can test a bottle of Grand Marnier 10 years ago. We're gonna maintain the same consistency.
And do you make your own? You don't make your own cognac.
We don't make our own cognac. We source cognac. We work with about 100 farmers, but we have some farmers who've been working with Grand Marnier from the 4th generations of family of cognac growers. So what we do is we buy already the cognac. We finish to age it. Like for older cognac, we age it in our own distillery and cellar. And we have a collection of cognac that can go up to 100 years old, depending on what we want to do with it. So we have a large amount of cognac. Of course, we have this contract with all those farmers who's been very loyal with Grand Marnier, and so we've been working very tightly together with them.
And do you age it after the bitter orange has been added to the cognac, or is it?
Very good question. Yeah. We blend our cognac, and so we age our cognac, and after the final step will be to blend it. Mm-hmm. And after we will finish. So to answer the question, no, we don't age it with the orange liquor. We age a cognac. We finish with cognac aging. It depends. It depends again which cognac. For example, the Grand Marnier Cordon Rouge, we have a blend of cognac up to 2 years old, almost like a VS. So we already buy it. If you talk about some like the Centenaire, Grand Marnier Centenaire, we have some blend of cognac between 10 to 25 years old. Mm-hmm. So we're going to finish some of the aging, and it's about also the blending, some of it, maybe some of the older, not older, but maybe some of the older vintage is going to be aged in our own cellar. Compared to some other vintage. We don't have the exact formula. Only Patrick Regono knows.
That's very interesting. Anything else you think that our listeners should know about Grand Marnier?
Yes. I think a lot of people sometimes, the great thing about Grand Marnier, so like I said, this brand has been established for a very long time. And everyone knows the name, everyone knows the brand. For people who love to enjoy Grand Marnier, who wants to, some of their guests discover Grand Marnier, I always like to mention it's important to really highlight the presence of cognac. It's really what makes Grand Marnier a premium orange liquor. And we have tons of great orange liquor on the market, but it's really what differentiates us from the rest of the other orange brands and categories we have. And it's what gives us this versatility, how we can enjoy it neat on the rocks, but again in so many cocktails. So it's so many ways to really have fun and to entertain your guests at home or in the bar or in a restaurant.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time today to talk to us. We really appreciate it. Very, very interesting.
You're very welcome. Thank you very much for having me. And hopefully we get more people excited about Grand Marnier.
Absolutely. Thank you. Cheers.
All right. Bye.
And now we'll hear from a bartending professional. Welcome to the podcast, Todd Adam from Hyde Park in Upper Arlington.
How we doing?
Good. So, Todd, can you tell us how, as a bartender, you use Grand Marnier in a cocktail?
Now, I will admit, a lot of the times I drink Grand Marnier. I do drink it neat. But when using it in a cocktail, a lot of people look at Grand Marnier. They're going to think very similar things of that of triple sec. There's a huge difference between the two. As far as Grand Marnier is going to be a cognac base, and it's going to have a little bit more earthy notes to it than a standard triple sec. Triple sec is going to be very clear orange, where you're going to get a little bit more out of your Grand Marnier. Now, a lot of the times when I use it, and then pretty much one of the most popular cocktails it's used in, you're going to see something like a Cadillac margarita. a lot of times as well. Like when I do a sidecar, what I do instead of doing all triple sec, I'll use equal portions of the triple sec in the Grand Marnier. Now, if you do all Grand Marnier, it will come off a little different. But there are some really cool drinks that just use Grand Marnier and don't use triple sec. You can see stuff like even like an El Presidente. If you do an El Presidente, but you use just a little bit of Grand Marnier, you will get that orange out of it. You know, some of these cool classic drinks could use a touch. Even something like if you took like a French 75, all right, and instead of going all gin, you know, cut back a little bit on the gin, throw a splash of Grand Marnier to it, your lemon juice and sparkling on top. It's beautiful. It's really cool. So there are some super cool ways to accentuate some of the cocktails that you probably already know and that are out there. Like even like a Mai Tai too. Mai Tai is a fun one. Throw a little bit of Grand Marnier in it. It works well.
So you said that you like to drink it. You like to drink it neat. Do you drink just regular Grand Marnier?
Yes, usually after dinner, you know, I'll go there, or even some of their cooler products. Grand Marnier 100 is a beautiful, beautiful bottle. You know, still will run you, you know, gosh, it's probably about 150 now, maybe a little bit less than that. But it is a beautiful product, less viscous, a little bit more floral, a really, really good. I mean, because the idea is, you know, they started out as a cognac house, you know, and then not until 1880 did they come out with the Grand Marnier recipe. And that was something that, you know, I love it neat. Even their top end stuff, if you ever go out and find a bottle of the Grand Marnier Quintessence, it's unbelievable. I mean, there's 70-year cognacs in it. The bottle is beautiful Baccarat crystal. And if you haven't seen the new one too, because we have some at Hyde Park, and we have the older bottle. The newer bottle is like, I saw it today and I was like, man, I would love to buy that bottle, really just to have the crystal afterwards though too. But like I said, it's beautiful Baccarat crystal. It's really a cool looking bottle.
If I'm not mistaken, I think that one does run about $750.
Yes. That one is one of those that, don't buy that and plan on bringing it to a party. Keep it high up on the liquor cabinet so that when you're grabbing it, you don't want to grab it twice.
How much is a pour of that at Hyde Park?
Oh God, I would love to give you the right estimate on that. I think it's close to 100. It might be a little over. It might be a little under. I'd say probably somewhere in between 75 to 115, maybe.
Have you tasted it?
I have. I've been lucky enough to try a sip. It is mind-blowingly good. The funny thing is even the difference between standard Grand Marnier and the Grand Marnier 100, and the 100 I believe uses a 25-year cognac. Don't quote me on that, but I do believe it's a 25-year. But even the difference between that is mind-blowing, and the difference between the 100 and the Quintessence is it's one of those that if you're lucky enough to enjoy that would probably be my number one thing. Like after a big dinner, if you're like, what's the one thing you could drink? Yeah, that would probably be it. Be it.
Someday we'll try it.
What other cocktails do you use Grand Marnier in?
Well, I was sitting there and I was going through and I was like, you know what? I want to find a couple really cool cocktails that you can, that are not necessarily lost. These are all in books. And this is just some cool things that you could do at home, or even, if you're a bartender, you could bring these out and they're great drinks. The first one that I ran into was the Alabazam. The Alabazam goes back pre-Prohibition, 1891. It was more of considered like a punch kind of drink. All right, so it was like 2 ounces of cognac. Then you use 1 ounce of Grand Marnier. You're going to use a half ounce of lemon, half ounce of simple, and then you do 2 dashes of orange bitters. Now you're going to take all this, you're going to shake it up, pour it over ice, and then you top it with an ounce of soda. So this is going to be like a nice, you put it in a highball, orange or a lemon wheel on the side, but nice, easy drinking. Like this is like outdoor summer kind of drink. Really cool, plays with cognac. And again, it's going to go back to almost like that sort of punch, sort of flavored drink. And even the book was called like, I don't have the name of it. I'd have to look it up real quick, but it was like the Punch Bowl book in 1891, but really cool, old school pre-prohibition drink.
Awesome. Sounds delicious.
It's actually really, really tasty. The really cool one. So I sat there and I'm like, Harry Craddock, I'm sure a lot of cocktailers have heard of Harry Craddock. He's, one of the most well-known cocktail makers of all time. But he made a drink called Leap Year, the Leap Year. And it was in order to celebrate the leap year in 1928. So he had this in his big cocktail book that's, world known, but it's 1.5 ounces of gin. You do a 1/2 ounce sweet vermouth. You do a 1/2 ounce Grand Marnier, a 1/2 ounce of lemon juice, and then a lemon twist is going to be the garnish. Now, this is going to be in a coupe glass. Nice, beautiful. This is going to be almost a gin variation of a sidecar. The sweet vermouth does cut back, so it's not going to be necessarily super boozy on that with, you could try it without the sweet vermouth to see if that's something that you prefer. But again, the sweet vermouth is there to help accentuate it.
All right. Do you have any other cocktails on your list?
Yeah, the last one I did is we have one called the Millionaire Whiskey Cocktail. So this is something that I'm sure we've seen in a couple bars around the city, but whiskey becoming the big thing these days. I figured we might as well throw one of those in. But this is going to be very similar to the last drink I gave you. The only difference is instead of using the gin and the sweet vermouth, we're just going to substitute both of those with 2 ounces of bourbon. So it's just 2 ounces of bourbon, 1/2 ounce Grand Marnier. You do the 1/2 ounce of lemon. We're going to do a 1/4 ounce of grenadine on this one. You're going to take all of these. You're going to place them in your shaker. You're going to shake it cold. You're going to pour it into another shaker because this one we're going to add egg white to it. We'll do the reverse dry shake unless you want to do it the other way where you do the dry shake prior and then add the ice. But usually what I would do is I'd add all those ingredients. I would shake it, strain it into another shaker. We're going to add our 1 egg white to it at that point, shake vigorously, and then pour into a coupe glass. This is a fantastic drink. This one is by far, in my opinion, the best drink that is using Grand Marnier as far as a pretty solid component.
So I think what I hear you saying is that Grand Marnier makes everything taste better.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
So tell us what you love most about Grand Marnier.
I would tell you this, again, on their high end, there's nothing better to sip after dinner, in my opinion. It is just beautiful. I love oranges. Obviously, you can see I'm wearing an orange shirt, but in my opinion, there's nothing better to end the night with than Grand Marnier. And I'm one of those that I would tell you, if I could readily afford it, I would do the quintessence all the time. But usually if I'm at a place and they have the 100-year Grand Marnier, I think that bottle is a beautiful, beautiful bottle. That in my opinion is just it's beautiful. Nice expression of orange. And I know as far as even like the components, as far as I know they use the Haitian bitter orange. I mean, it makes the cognac sing, in my opinion. So
all
nice.
Right. Well, Todd Adam with Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse in Upper Arlington, thank you for informing us on how to use Grand Marnier.
Anytime. Hope you have a great day.
Cheers.
You too. And now we'll hear from a home bartender about how he uses Grand Marnier. Welcome to the podcast, Bill Teets.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure meeting you guys and getting a little peek into your world. I appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely. So tell us, how do you use Grand Marnier in a cocktail?
I am a big fan of simple syrups, especially in the summer. I have a small herb garden, and I just love experimenting with different kinds of simple syrups. One of the things I found, a huge fan of orange flavoring, but triple sec is just so sweet. And then when you use a simple syrup of either a mint or a basil simple syrup, I do some jalapeno simple syrups. That sweetness can just become so overpowering in a cocktail. And I found Grand Marnier has an intense and I think a little more natural orange flavor. So it's a very nice way to kind of enhance a cocktail without pushing it over the edge from a perspective of sweetness.
Very good.
Nice.
And when did you start to love Grand Marnier?
Well, when I was young and thought I needed to be a little pretentious, I was like, oh, I need an after dinner drink. And I tried brandy, and it was just, particularly when I was young, it was just too much. And liked Frangelica, but it was a little too sweet. And so I settled on Grand Marnier. It's to me, it's a really nice after dinner drink. Kind of sit back and
so you'll just sip it. You'll just sip it neat.
I will sip it neat, and quite honestly, that's one of the reasons I use it instead of something like triple sec. I don't have a ton of space in my bar, and I use the orange flavoring like a Grand Marnier or Curacao in a small amounts. So getting a bottle of Grand Marnier gives me something that I can use in a cocktail, but it also gives me something that I can sip on my own. And you never pour yourself a glass of triple sec and say, "Oh, this is delicious." But Grand Marnier has that, those kind of undertones of cognac and all of that. So it makes for a nice sipping drink and a nice little way to round out a cocktail.
Do you have a favorite cocktail that you use Grand Marnier in?
I love it with bourbon. So I will do various takes on an old fashioned with it. Using maybe a slightly spicier rye or maybe a little heavier bourbon, a little higher alcohol content bourbon. And I'll use Grand Marnier with a little bitters. Summertime, I love basil simple syrup, and I will use some basil simple syrup and a nice bourbon and with a little Grand Marnier, and it just adds a real nice kind of complex, fruity. It's a sweeter cocktail, but it doesn't go over the edge, and it's great with the basil as well. Those are, I think, two flavors that marry really well together.
Awesome.
That's great. I love how you mentioned its versatility because everyone that we've talked to so far about it, they've said the same thing. It's great on its own. It adds so much to a cocktail, and it just seems like such a great, well-balanced mixer to add to your collection. If you, like you said, you don't have a lot of room, you might as well use something that you can use in many ways.
And I think you can use it year round. I had to do a little bit of prep for your podcast. So I did make a few different drinks. I made a couple bourbon drinks, and then I did a homemade margarita. And so you can have this bright orange flavor that you'd use in a summer cocktail, but it also works well in the winter because it's high proof, has that kind of warming effect as well. So, it's versatile from a perspective of using it year round too.
Well, we didn't ask you to do that, but we love your due diligence.
I am dedicated.
Well, thanks again for doing this, Bill. It's great to see you tonight.
Awesome chatting with you guys.
Great to see you. Cheers.
All right, take care, guys.
Cheers.
Listeners, please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram at Seabus Craft Cocktail Tour. Visit our website at columbuscraftcocktailtour.com for cocktail tour dates, women and whiskey tastings, special events, merchandise, and if you're looking for a gift for that special person in your life, get them a gift card to our cocktail tour. Thank you to the biographer for our original music. And please remember to drink responsibly and be cocktail curious. Cheers.